everybody, DeathsStalker here. So I thought I'd talk a little bit about what's involved to become a motorcycle mechanic, because there's a few people that have mentioned it a few times, and they are always just sort of curious how come some places have really good mechanics and other places have crap mechanics. Well, I can't speak for the rest of the world, but I can tell you about Ontario. In Ontario, motorcycle mechanics, like car mechanics, are a licensed trade. So to get your motorcycle license, you have to work in the trades under an apprenticeship program. So you have to do X number of hours. I'll put the number of hours you have to work here, and they say it takes approximately 3 to 5 years to get your full license. Now, you also have to attend school. It's like a college, but it's like a trade college where they run you through theory and all that sort of stuff. And as far as the schooling part goes, it's pretty much straightforward. It's the same for everybody. Now, as far as the apprenticeship program part of it goes, it's up to the individual shops. Now, some shops don't actually take apprentices, but a lot of them do, because they do realize that having an apprentice might someday actually turn out to be your mechanic. I just wasn't trusting that van. Now the actual apprentice program part of itself, like where you go to work at whatever motorcycle shop where you get your sort of like what would be called in-service training, that's where the good and the bad mechanics sort of come from. As in a lot of industries, you're only good as your teacher, and there's a lot of people that they're okay mechanics, are just crappy teachers. And there's some students who basically, it's like the difference between an A student and a C student is how well they are, but the bottom line is they both graduate. And it's the same thing with mechanics. It's actually the same in every industry. You get, for every brilliant doctor you have who can perform open heart surgery or brain surgery, you have the doctor who's the main reason for malpractice insurance. And motorcycle mechanics are no different. There are guys who are brilliant, super knowledgeable, and guys who basically are heart swappers. The shop I race out of, it was actually kind of cool. They actually had two master mechanics, and the two of them together were like the two most brilliant guys I'd ever seen as far as like diagnosing motorcycles. But both of them at the time when I met them had been working on bikes for like 25 years, so they were like very well versed and very intelligent. And the apprentices, when I was there, they had a couple come through. One guy, he wasn't too bad. He was sort of picking up on what the master mechanics were telling him. But there was a few guys who you could tell, like, if they ever get hired full-time at a motorcycle shop, they'll be the guy changing tires, because that's about all their skill level is for. Now, the biggest problem with the industry as a whole is the pay scale. And part of that comes on us, the motorcycle public, because, you take a bike in for service and the guy said it's going to be like $400 or $300 or whatever, and you go, oh, that's outrageous. Well, it's like, the bike shop might be charging $60, $80 or $100 an hour service rate, but that mechanic's probably lucky if he's getting $20 to maybe $30 an hour. So the bike shops the rest of that pays for the compressed air, the supplies of chemicals that come and go into the shop and all that sort of stuff. So the mechanics, they're not getting rich doing this. In fact, I know a lot of guys who were master mechanics, and they left and went into the car industry because the pay was better. And it's kind of sad, because the one guy I know, he now works on BMW cars. He gets paid a crap load of money, but his love is motorcycles. The only advantage was he got a good deal on a BMW motorcycle to commute to work on. But the apprenticeship program is what we have in this province. More or less, it's pretty good. Like, everyone's supposed to have a good foundation, and they generally do. They understand a lot of stuff, but like, the real problem with motorcycles is the diagnostic part. When your bike comes in, it's making some weird sound sort of thing, and you're trying to tell the mechanic what it's doing, and then he takes it for a test drive, or she takes it for a test drive, and they have to be able to figure out what the real problem is. Is it just something loose someplace that's easily to fix, or does the engine actually have to come apart? And that's where the real problem comes, is that when motorcycles, unlike cars, they're not easy to service. And some bikes actually, servicing the valves consists of taking the engine out. And a lot of bikes, like this race bike with all the body work and ducts and fairings and radiators and stuff, the shop could eat a couple hours of shop time just trying to take it apart enough so they can actually get at what the problem is. And that all adds up to the cost. Now, cars aren't much better nowadays. If you pop the hood in a car, you can't even tell where the engine is anymore, where all the shrouds and whatnot they got around it. But overall, it's sort of where the industry's gone. So where do all the good mechanics go? Well, talk to some of the people you ride with. If they've taken their bikes in, is this a place that you can get your bike serviced or not? Or is this a place don't take your bike in? Because unfortunately, there's a lot of that. When I was riding, there was about 8 or 9 motorcycle shops within about a half-an-hour drive where I lived, and there was only 2 I'd ever take a bike. The rest of them might buy a bike there, but I'd never ever take it back for service. Now, the internet's a little bit easier, because you can actually you can do a little more searching, and I imagine there's probably some people posting thing on Yelp or whatever app they use to complain about lousy service at cars and motorcycles and dishwasher repair. No doubt they'll be able to help you out a heck of a lot more than back when I was first starting out. I had to learn the hard way. Now, I was lucky. It was only about my 3rd motorcycle that I found the mechanic that was the guy I trusted best to work my bikes, and he moved to 2 different shops when I was racing and had my street bikes, and whatever shop he went to was the shop I took my bike to. So anyways, I'll post a little link on the website if you want to see what the requirements are and whatnot for the apprenticeship program in Ontario. I know a lot of the people who watch my videos are not from Ontario, but it might be interesting to you. Anyways, DeathsStalker signing off. I try not to die with someone going to a golf